Ethan Hunt is back for another impossible mission. Now, I used to watch the 1960s Mission Impossible TV show with my maternal grandfather back in the late 1980s. Because of my nostalgia for that show, I was excited to see a modern-day reboot in the 1990s and was not disappointed. The scene with Tom Cruise hanging by a wire in that room and having to catch his sweat before it hit the floor has become iconic. Now, that movie kicked off what is arguably the best action movie franchise currently in production. We are now 7 movies into that series. Tom Cruise is better than ever, and he's now in his 60s. Over the years, the movies have gotten longer, the cast have gotten bigger, and the stunts have gotten more insane. Now, unlike the Fast and the Furious series, Mission Impossible, for the most part, goes for realism in its stunts, and the plots are much more believable. The use of real sets and practical effects on Mission Impossible movies set them apart from other modern-day action films, although the Daniel Craig James Bond films do a pretty good job too. Now, at this point, the series is kind of rinsing and repeating the plot structure. Ethan Hunt is pulled into a web of conspiracy, and he must navigate it. He must stop the bad guys. He must pull off death-defying stunts, run at full speed, drive a motorcycle, quickly turn a steering wheel like this back and forth while driving like a fool, wear a mask to impersonate another person, and work with his crack team to save the world. Now, I'm not sure if the dialogue was cheesier in this movie or if I'm just now noticing how cheesy Mission Impossible dialogue has always been, but my wife and I both laughed in the theater at the beginning of this movie when a room full of high-ranking government officials were explaining a new threat to the world. An AI has become sentient and must be stopped. There are about 5 people in the room, and each one of them speaks a few words before the next one takes over. I can barely tell a story by myself. I'd have to rehearse the story for weeks if I had to coordinate it with 4 other people, where we all must be in perfect sync to make sure there are no pauses between speaker changes. Now, the plot was good, but it didn't knock off my socks like some other AI stories that we've gotten in recent years from the great TV show Black Mirror. We also didn't get any incredible new technology that blew me away, like in previous Mission Impossible films. It was solid all around, but just not as revolutionary as I was hoping. Where the story and the gadgets weren't up to what I was expecting, the stunts were. We get a killer car chase through the streets of Rome that is strangely similar to a car chase we got earlier this summer in Fast and the Furious 10. It kind of reminded me of how in the 90s we had 2 volcano movies the same summer and then 2 asteroid movies the same summer. What are the chances there are 2 car chases in the same city in the same summer? We also get the "I can't believe Tom Cruise really did that stunt" featuring a motorcycle and a huge cliff. But the climactic scene after that stunt inside of a train may be the coolest set piece in the entire series. If not, it's at least in the top 3. It reminded me of the opening sequence of the great PlayStation game Uncharted 2. Now, even though you're pretty sure that Tom Cruise's character is going to survive, the scene is still going to have you on edge. If you've enjoyed the other Mission Impossible films, you're going to enjoy this one as well. Even with a story and gadgets that were a bit weaker than other films in the series, you do get a lot of action and a story that will have you gripping your armrest. There is no doubt that Tom Cruise, even in his 60s, is the best action star around. And we really didn't get a conclusion to this movie as it is labeled as Part 1. I guess going forward, movies are just going to leave us hanging. Fast and the Furious 10, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and now Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, they're all Part 1s. So I guess that just means there are going to be 3 more great movies concluding those stories coming out very soon that I cannot wait to see. Riding horses in a sandstorm, running at full speed, car chases, scenic boat rides, submarines.